Mia Local Poultry Farm. Once again, welcome back to another exciting episode of The Farm with Us, where we get to answer all your questions right here in our classroom. The returning subscribers, we can't thank you enough. If you have not subscribed yet, please endeavor to take a few seconds to click that subscription button, like, share, comment, and always leave your question. We promise we shall answer all questions. We shall be able to tackle all questions regarding the local poultry farming. A simple reminder, our farm is located along Fort Potro Road in Chenjojo district at a trading center called Rui Valley. Now, without wasting a lot of time, let's dive straight into the question for today. Before we go to the question for today, I would like to send some shouts out to Namibia fans. I have some fans from Zimbabwe, the guys who are sending me messages from South Africa, and I cannot forget Uganda and the rest of the country. You guys, I love you so much. You're the reason why we are here. Every time you view us, every time you watch this content, every time you click the subscription button, every time you click that like button, YouTube pushes our videos to more of the people, and it makes us proud. Okay, so let's dive into our question for today. Hi Mia, can you please break down for me the feeding formula you use for your local chicken? Now, this viewer today wants to know about the feeding formula. How do we mix these feeds? What content, what quantities do we mix at different stages of the local birds? Now, remember I told you when you receive these one-day-old chicks, the moment you receive them, you're taking them straight into the brooder. Why? Because this is where they can get enough warmth. This is where they can be looked after as babies. Imagine you're producing a one-day-old baby. You want him to be as comfortable as possible. So this is why we need to send these one-day-old chicks to our brooder. Now, when these chicks are inside the brooder, what is the formula? What kind of food do we feed them on? So let's start from there. Now, as I told you, in the brooder, between 1 week, actually between 1 day to 28 days, those are 4 weeks, we feed these chicks on only pellets. We don't mix for them feeds. We buy pellets. These pellets are specially made for these young chicks. These starter, we call them starter chicks, specifically between 1 and 28 days. Now, these pellets have enough nutrients, enough nutrient content that these chicks need to grow from 1 day up to the 4th week. Now, when our chicks get to 4 weeks, remember we need to put them out of the brooder and transfer them to the main chicken house where they're going to grow for the rest of their lives, so long as they're still at your farm. Now, the moment you get them out of the brooder, we are going to start making our feeds formula. Now, this is the formula I'm sure you are interested in knowing. How are we going to mix these feeds? What quantities are we going to give these birds? Okay? Now, whenever we are mixing for these birds, remember when you get these chicks, the one-day chicks, you cannot separate the male from the female. It's very, very, very rare. It's not easy at all. Actually, it's impossible to separate that. I want only female, I want only cocks. Okay? It's very, very difficult to separate them when they are still at day 1. Now, when you buy chicks, assuming you come to me, a local poultry farm, and you say you want to buy 200 birds or 300 birds, in most cases you're going to get a ratio of about 50-50. It's not exactly 50-50, but in most cases it's going to be ranging around 50-50 ratio. That means if you buy 100 birds from me, a local poultry, expect to have about 50 cocks and 50 hens. The hens may be a little more than the cocks, but that's the range we should count, 50-50. If you buy 100 birds, expect to have about 50 cocks and then 50 hens. Now, from 4 weeks, when we transfer our chicks from the brooder to 8 weeks, Now that is the period of making 2 months. Between 1 month and 2 months. Between 4 weeks to 8 weeks. How do we formulate our feeds? This is what I want you to do for me. So I want you to get for me 200 kilograms of broken maize. Okay? Broken maize. Don't add in maize brand. Only broken maize. Why do we need to use broken maize? It's because our chicks are still developing some features. They are still growing. They are still young. Okay? So you're going to get for me 200 kilograms of broken, and then you add in 50 kilogram of the broiler concentrate. Now, why do we need to use the broiler concentrate? The broiler concentrate helps these chicks to boost their body. Okay? It works like a booster. It boosts the body. That's why broilers grow in only 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you're already eating. Now, there is a way the broiler concentrate is made. It's different from the layer concentrate. So at this time, our chicks are still young. We need to boost their body. We need to boost their everything, their immunity, their health, we just want them to grow. At this time, we are not minding whether it's going to be a cock or it's going to be a hen. All we need is to boost their body, build the legs, build the muscles, and come up with something that is ready to turn into something at the end of it all. So, number one, we said you're going to get 200 kilograms of broken maize. You're going to get 50 kilograms of broiler concentrate. And then you're going to get 15 kilograms of lime. And then you're going to add in 3 kilograms of any booster that you have. At our farm, usually we use, sometimes we use Wonder Pig, at times we use Big Pig. It does the same thing. So you're going to get for me only 3 kilograms of that. So don't forget, we said 200 kilograms of broken maize, 50 kilograms of broiler concentrate. You're going to get 15 kilograms of lime. Why do we need to put in lime? It's because we need to make their legs, their bones stronger. That's the reason we use lime. Lime works as calcium. So you can either use calcium, you can use lime. It does the same thing. So for us, we use lime, but if you have calcium or shells, it does the same thing. And then you'll add in 3 kilograms of any booster that you have. And like I told you, for us, we use Big Pig and Wonder Pig. Now, a simple reminder, there are so many broiler and layer concentrate out there on the market. Like right now in Uganda, we have Kafika cow days, we have Jubaili, we have SR feeds, we have Hendrix. There are so many on market. I'm not going to say this is better than this, but the best brands are the ones I have talked about. There are other brands that are good, but like I told you, I give you what I use because this comes from experience. I have not had any problem with SR, I have not had any problem with Kafika cow days, and I have not had any problem with SR. So all these products, so long as they are genuine. Sometimes there are tendencies of people duplicating these products. You find they get sacks, he gets a sack of like Kafika and then removes what is inside and then mix their own things and repackage. Now when you come and buy, you think you've bought product A or product B, and yet you bought fake product. So please be careful from which people you buy these formulas or these concentrates. All right. Now when our chicks reach 8 weeks, what do we do? When they reach 8 weeks, that means they have made 2 months. In poultry, when we are doing farming, we count in terms of weeks. If I tell you this chick is 1 month, it means it has 28 days. We count 4 weeks. So it's very important to be counting in weeks. Because when you try to count in a month, you find other month has 31 days, others have 30 days, others have 28 days, 29 days. So it's a little confusing. Now what we do, we use days or weeks. Now, that formula that I've just told you, you're going to give it to your birds until they make 8 weeks. Now, when they make 8 weeks, what do we do? This is what you're going to do for me. You're going to introduce bran, maize bran. In my language, it's commonly called chachu, but it's called maize bran in English. I think it cuts across everywhere. It's called maize bran. Now, we need to introduce maize bran. Why do we need to introduce maize bran? Now, when we introduce maize bran, we are saving because we believe maize bran is a little cheaper than the broken. Okay? Don't forget, the cheaper, the more less nutrient it is for your birds. So, at this stage, we need to introduce some maize bran. How are we going to mix our feeds when the chicks make 8 weeks? You're going to get for me 120 kilogram of broken, and then you mix in 80 kilogram of bran, mix in 50 kilograms still of the broiler concentrate, mix for me 20 kilograms of lime, and still mix for me 3 kilograms of any booster. And like I told you, in this case, I use Big Pig or Wonder Pig. It does the same thing. Okay, I'll repeat. 120 kilograms of broken maize, 80 kilograms of bran, 50 kilograms of broiler concentrate, 20 kilograms of lime, and lastly 3 kilograms of any meat booster that you have around. When I talk of booster, I'm not talking of the egg booster. I'm talking of the meat booster. So we have seen that at this stage, still we are using broiler concentrate. Why? We are now entering our 3rd week. Our chicken are not yet ready to lay. So they are not ready. Our chicks are not yet ready to start laying. So what are we doing? We are still boosting their body. Okay? So we need again to boost their body more to get to that level when we start preparing them. So at this time, between 8 to 12 weeks, you're going to mix that same formula I've just told you. 120 kilogram of broken, 80 kilograms of bran, 50 kilograms of broiler concentrate, 20 kilograms of lime, and lastly 3 kilograms of any meat booster. Now, when the chicks reach 12 weeks, there are a few things that we need to do because now they are starting to mature. At this time, you're going to find your chicks are 2 kilograms, others are 1.5 kilograms, others are 2.2 kilograms, depending. Now, this is what you're going to do for me. When they reach 3 months or when they reach 12 weeks, you are going to separate all the cocks from the hens. Because at this time you can tell this is a cock, this is a hen. So you're going to separate them and you're going to start feeding them differently. How are we going to feed them? The male or the cocks are going to be fed on the broiler concentrate. They're going to continue with the broiler concentrate. And then the female or the hens, at this time we're going to refer to them as layers. Now, layers or mothers, we are going to feed them on the layers concentrate. I think we get the difference. We do this at 12 weeks. Okay, so between 12 and 16 weeks, we are changing the type of concentrate we are giving the different types of the birds. The layers are going to get the layers mash, or what we call the layers concentrate, and the broilers are going to get the broiler concentrate. Now, when they start with the cocks are going to continue eating what you are giving them previously in the 3rd month. You are still going to give them 120 kilograms of 120 kilograms of broken maize, 80 kilograms of bran, and then 50 kilograms of broiler concentrate because they are male. We need to boost their body because we are preparing them to go to the market anytime. I hope you're together at this. When we reach 12 weeks or when we reach 3 months, we start preparing our cocks for the market, because at around 4 months we need to send our cocks to the market. So we need to make them gain weight, we need to make them heavy. Don't forget that when someone out there in the market wants to buy chicken, is not going to look at how long has this chicken been on earth, how many months does it have, how many years. No, what he's going to look at is carrying it and knowing how many kilograms your cock has, and that's the amount of money they are going to give you. So at this time, at this stage, we want our cocks to be as fat as possible, as heavy as possible, because in the next 1 or 1.5 months we are sending all of them to the market. Now, when you go to the layers side, or the hens, at 12 weeks, between 12 and 16 weeks, what do? We are going to mix 100 kilograms of broken, we put in 100 kilograms of bran, and then we mix in 50 kilograms of layer concentrate. Don't forget, the layers this time are going to be feeding on the layer concentrate. You can use the same brand. It can be Cow Days, it can be SR, it can be Jubail, it can be Hendrix. All of them make broiler and layer concentrate. So in this case, we're going to use the layer concentrate for our hens. And then still you're going to put in the lime, 20 kilograms of lime. Now what we are not going to put in, we're not going to put in the meat booster. Why? We don't want our chicken to grow too much weight. Remember, if we fatten our hens, if we fatten these layers, they are not going to get eggs. What is going to happen? Inside their body, at that part where they formulate the eggs, where the eggs are formed inside the chicken, if you slaughter it, in most cases you're going to find their fats. Okay, now those fats stop the chick from laying eggs. It's just simple science. Now, what do we need to do? We need to give it more of the bran if we find that they are fat. Assuming we measure our chicken, the female ones, the hens, and they have about 2.5 kilograms, they're not going to give us eggs. So what do? We need to cut their weight, because we are interested in their eggs. We're not interested in fattening them, because we're not going to sell them. All we need is to get the eggs. Why do we need to get the eggs? The eggs is the business. Guys, the eggs is where the business is, because that's where we make the money. That's where the magic happens, in receiving these fertilized eggs. So at 12 weeks, I remind you still, you're going to get 100 kilograms of broken, mix in 100 kilograms of bran, and then 50 kilograms of layer concentrate, then 20 kilograms of lime. Why do we need to put in lime? We are preparing these birds to be mounted on. Remember, we are going to get cocks at 4 months. Now, when we get cocks from different farm, why do we need to get cocks from a different farm or cocks from another stock? Because we don't want to use these same cocks that are brothers to this chicken to mount them, so that we prevent what we call inbreeding. Inbreeding is a serious disease. Inbreeding is a very, very serious disease, and it has no cure. Imagine you sleeping with your sister, and then you make her pregnant. There is that disease that child is going to get. It's genetic. That child is not going to grow well. You may be lucky and the child grows well, but in most cases, the child is going to be sickly. The child may not survive a long time. So this happens to the chicks themselves. Now, in inbreeding, if you make your chicken inbreed, assuming you get your chicks, you don't separate them from the cocks, and then they mate, they serve themselves. Now, the babies that come out of them, the eggs that come out of them when they are hatched, these are mostly the chicks that you don't see surviving in the brooder time. In most cases, you find you buy around 100 birds, and before they leave the brooder at 1 month, you have only 30 or 40 or 50. These are some of the causes. This is why I recommend you to buy from the guys that have tested time, the farms that have been there, the farms that are recommended, the farms that are being recommended by other people that you know are well established. And this is why I emphasize you to always follow these guidelines. Because when someone buys eggs from you, he hatches them, and then the chicks are dying like nothing in a brooder, trust me, he's not going to come back and give you business. So, if you really need to survive in the local poultry farming, you need to stand out and put everything in order. You have to make sure that your chicks are of good quality and very healthy. Now, at 16 weeks, our birds have already made 4 months. What do we do? I think this is when we start getting some happiness. Why? Our cocks are ready to go to the market. In only 4 months, you are going to be able to sell your cocks. Pick out those big ones, pick out the heavy ones, take them to the market and sell them. Get more money, invest again in the feeds. The ones that are a little bit light, you can feed them for another 2 or 3 weeks and also sell them. I don't advise leaving them at your farm. Why? Because you don't want them to mate with their sisters, to mate with their hens. And then you're going to get the eggs or the hatched chicks that are inbred. So I advise you to sell all the cocks from your farm. Sell them to a different farm for serving, that's okay. Sell them for eating, that's fine. But I don't advise you to leave them on your farm. Why? Because you don't want to inbreed your parent stock. Now, the side of the hens, what do we do? Now, this is the best time to introduce cocks to your flock. Okay? At 4 months, we are going to buy cocks from another farm, another tested farm, and introduce them to your chicks. Why? You want them to be served, because in the next 3 or 4 weeks, you're going to start getting some eggs. But these eggs that you get when the chick is still 5 months, 5.5, 6 months, I don't advise you to take them for hatching. Why? These are still immature eggs. So the first eggs you get when your hens are still young, at 5 or 6 months, if you hatch them, yes, you're going to get babies, but these are going to be sickly babies, just like as if they were inbred. So these eggs, I advise you to sell them in the market. Sell them for eating, sell them for different kind of things. Sell them off, because you know when your chicks reach 6.5 or 7 months, this is when you're going to start hatching. This is where the miracles are going to start happening. Guys, like I tell you, this is the exciting moment that every farmer awaits for. When your chicks are 6 to 7 months and they are laying like nothing, this is when you're going to make money. This is the longest awaited time. So, how many cocks do I introduce into the hens? How do you know how many cocks you're supposed to introduce into your hens? Now, for us, we use a ratio of 1 to 8. Others use a ratio of 1 to 10. It's okay, but it's better if you can use a ratio of 1 to 8. So, at Mia Local Poultry Farm, we use a ratio of 1 to 8 hens. Why? Because we want to have enough cocks so that all our birds can be served, and then we can prevent most of the eggs being unhatched. Another important thing, now, as we are administering or as we are feeding our chicks on different formulas, what do we need to put at the back of the mind? These chickens, remember, they are local birds. We need to give them some natural greens. We need to give them some natural or local greens. What do we mean by this? If you get some yam leaves, they are very good. If you get some banana leaves, they are very good for our chicks. Any greens, okay? Dodo, anything you can give them. Even banana peelings, they are very good for our chicks. Even the leftovers, the food that you pick from different places. Let's assume you are near a school, there is this food that they throw in the dustbin. If you could get that foods, if you could get that food and then give them to your chicken, it's very delicious for them. Why do we need to do this? We don't want to keep our birds only on the formulated food. So remember, we need to get our eggs to be yellow so that you can sell them as yellow yolk eggs. Because when they're sold with yellow yolk, they are a little expensive compared to the other eggs. But what brings about this yellow yolk? First, if you have the capacity of releasing your birds at least once or twice a week, please do so. Okay, if you have like a perimeter wall, or if your chicken house is fenced and you can release these birds to get some vitamins from the sun, to chase and eat these worms, to eat every kind of thing they can come across, it will help the chicken in laying the eggs with yellow yolk. It will also help in boosting the immunity of these birds so that they can be resistant to many diseases. Okay, so even giving them these greens, these leaves, those we shall be showing you most of these things. We shall be showing you in the other sessions, not in the classroom sessions. Thank you for watching me, Local Poultry Farm. Just a reminder, we sell chicks of 1 day, we sell chicks of 1 month, we sell eggs, a tray at 30,000 Uganda shillings, that's $9. And also we sell mature birds, both cocks and hens. If you want a laying hen, we sell it at 40,000 shillings. I think that's about $12. And then if you want roosters to do the job of serving, also we sell them at 40,000 shillings, which is about $13.